Hey guys, and welcome to another Minecraft video. This one is not so much a tutorial as it is sort of a showcase, but I also need a little bit of help. So basically, I created this little system here, and I kind of want any kind of opinions, or rather advice, on how to improve it, and so I'm going to show you it first, and then I will ask you the question that I need advice on. So basically, this is a keyboard that lets you type in whatever you want, and then it can read that information back. Designed with command blocks, obviously, and this does use the 1.9 command blocks. I'm pretty sure it can be done with the 1.8 and before command blocks, but 1.9 just makes it easier with those chains. So yeah, so if I show you how this works, if I type in F, you'll see what happened there. It created an armor stand called F, right? And then it teleported that armor stand to the marker's position, and then it moved the marker over. And so that's how this is working. So I could do FA, and you get FA, C, and E. And now if I come over here to read it back, what this will do is, if you'll notice, this is on the left side, and obviously the words go from left to right in this case. So what happens is, it'll use the tell raw command to output some text to the player, and it uses the extra parameter here to allow it to actually output the result of a selector. And so in this case, we're selecting the armor stand that is the closest, that is not the marker. And so since this is on the left side and the words go from left to right, that's going to be the first letter that you typed. So it's going to output that first letter. And then we have this conditional chain. So if it's able to do that, then it's going to kill the nearest armor stand that is not the marker. So it will kill this, and then basically start a clock. And that clock, which is just a basic comparator clock, so when that succeeds, it turns on the comparator, and the comparator clock triggers, and it just comes back here to the start again, and it just keeps doing that. So it gets rid of the F and outputs it. It outputs the A and gets rid of it, outputs the C and gets rid of it, outputs the E and gets rid of it. And by the time that's done, the only thing left is a marker, and we've told it to ignore the marker, so at that point it will fail, and the whole thing will stop, because after it fails, this turns off. There's a little bit more here. So we do set the block data of this original impulse command block back to 0 after the chain, and that's just because the way command blocks work, even though I have a 1-tick pulse here, once this succeeds, it will stay on. And if it stays on, then it won't continue to update this conditional right here, which is kind of annoying, because we need this to be up to date in order to know when to stop the clock when it finishes reading. So we just reset it back to 0 here, so that as soon as it succeeds, it does what it needs to do, but then also resets it and can take input from the next clock tick. And then the last thing here, we teleport the armor stand name marker 1 block to the left. So we are just moving this over. And so because of that, as it reads each letter, it moves the marker over, and by the time it finishes the word, the marker comes back to the beginning. So if we check that out, you'll see the marker's back at the beginning, and on the side we have the word face, exactly what we typed. And in case you wanted to make sure I didn't just pre-program that, let's just do cab, I don't know, cab hijika, whatever, cab hijika, random nonsense, but it will still pick it up. Cab hijik, right? So yeah, it's actually a fairly simple system, but I think the technique is useful. And just in case you wanted to see the commands here, it literally just summons an armor stand called A, and then it teleports the nearest armor stand called A to within 2 blocks, just in case it's already put over there. And it summons it, and then it teleports it to the armor stand named marker, the nearest armor stand named marker, and then it teleports the nearest armor stand named marker over 1 block to the right. So yeah. And then obviously all of them are exactly the same, except one does A, one does B, one does C, etc. So yeah, so that's the device, and the advice I need from you guys is, you saw the way it output the text, and I'll just show you again. Bad. It outputs it one letter at a time, right? B-A-D. I was hoping that there was a way that I could actually concatenate that, meaning put it all into one string, so it just says bad instead of separating them on each line. But I couldn't figure out how to do that. So the way this works, I showed you, is it takes one letter and then removes it, and then the next letter and removes it. And so right here, I'm just outputting all those letters. Is there a way to, instead of outputting the letters, add them to the end of a string, so that once this fails, I can then go out and output that entire string together instead of on separate lines? I couldn't figure out a way to do this, so if anybody knows how, I would very much appreciate either a link to a tutorial or just an explanation of how to do it. Just anything that might point me in the right direction. I mean, it works well for now, but in the future, if I'm going to put like titles or something that someone typed, or you know, even just output the text that someone types, I'd like to be able to put what they typed instead of one letter at a time. So if any of you can point me in the right direction to that, I would appreciate it. Thank you, and until next time, keep command blocking and keep redstoning.